Today we're talking with Sterling, who owns the Crystal Fox in Laurel, Maryland, a metaphysical store that's been in business since 1991. His first store was Foxcraft in Frederick, Maryland, which started in 1989. And so Sterling has a lot of experience with what it's like to start and run a metaphysical shop, and I know that a lot of folks have a dream of doing this. So let's talk with him about some of the nuts and bolts and some of the highs and lows of running your own metaphysical business. Thanks for being here, Sterling.
I got to see my Llewellyn rep. That was nice. So
Oh, good.
that's like once every couple of years.
Oh, wow. Why did they come in person?
They're visiting. They're doing a quick tour of some stores.
Nice.
So flew out. They'll hit a few stores and then they go to a convention in Houston into the heat. But yeah, it's like a gift show, new age gift show. They're trying to revitalize. So
Oh, good.
like you're in a slower part, like coming down off the roller coaster, find myself turning my sails to where the wind is taking me rather than, you know, fighting an uphill battle.
Where is the wind taking you?
Probably to the park with my dogs.
Fair enough.
Which sounds like sailing into the sunset, but that's not necessarily bad either. I mean, it's not. It's to be neutral. I think it. I also have to guard myself from standing too long, sitting too long, and allowing my body to, rest and recuperate,
Mhm.
because when you're truly rested and recuperated, then you can come in fresh and you're excited, you know,
Yes.
you're not pushing aside some of the burnout. But I mean, some of the burnout is not even work related. It's, you know, dealing with, the flood in the warehouse, got to replace nearly everything in the warehouse,
Oh God, that's right.
insurance that wants to not cover as much as they should. That's a mental thing rather than, it occupies a space in your mind as opposed to, you know, work related where you're like, let's sell some more things or let's order some more things, and where my brain should be.
How much merchandise got damaged in the flood?
It's hard to say. And a lot of it is old rocks. Like you don't want to just throw out rocks, but some of the rocks are not good sellers. The
Hmm.
the ugly rocks. Some of it could be like Legrandite and Adamite, but rough specimens. And our customers don't like rough rocks as much. They're not necessarily looking for faceted, but they want a polished gem.
Hmm.
So, of course, some people do want that rough and natural stone, um, but then they want the rough and natural stone not to look too rough. They want it to be, you know, uh, not like rough amethyst chips, but beautiful little amethyst points or big, beautiful amethyst points that are natural. And so, so yeah, you get leftovers. I mean, if you sell 10,000 amethyst points, you know, uh, you're going to be left with a couple hundred that are not pretty. People really like the polish. So like a rough piece of malachite, which is polished, like on one side, they'll
Yeah.
they'll like that, but they generally don't like the price, which is pretty expensive. So whenever you do that handy type of work, um, polished cut gems,
Mhm.
it elevates the cost. And you know, as or American consumers, first world countries, I think they've been kind of lucky to enjoy, that handiwork is inexpensive, because it comes from Brazil, China, India, Madagascar, Indonesia, India, if I didn't say it. Um, so they come from those parts of the world. Um, but the handiwork has gone up in price, and that's just gonna be the way of it,
Hmm.
um, in perpetuity, forever, until robots get enough that they can, you know, pick up a rough stone and make it beautiful, which is fairly complicated. I mean, you need eyes as good or better than ours, and then it needs a logical processing where it's just like, I know where the grain is, because if you polish tiger's eye against the grain, you get just a brown stone. It's
Yeah.
probably not pretty at all. But if you get it as like the way that you want, it's, lustrous, luminous. The light hits it and goes off in every direction. That's because there's bands that move through it. So all those fibers go in direction. So when you catch them just right and you polish them, it looks incredible. But if you polish it the wrong direction, and humans make this mistake because the human probably wasn't trained well enough, and you have I guess you call a master carver to be like, don't do that again. Do it like this. You have to catch it just right. And if you cut it wrong, then you're going to have a problem, because if you have a lot of pieces that are cut wrong, you're just going to be like, what are we going to make with this? What can you do with them? So uh, and some rocks and stones are easier, but some, has some significant challenges. And malachite, you would have to take a rough piece of malachite and hold the whole thing against a wet wheel, um, or you'd have to have a handheld polisher of some kind. And you know, hopefully you don't destroy most of it, but you are going to destroy a lot of it to get it to look like it has that beautiful finish. Other things might be easier, rock, stone, or crystal, although they're really hard. So you definitely need the right type of tools. And then if you're taking off a layer, you do want to be careful. I mean, sometimes you get things from Brazil that are beautiful because they just knew what to sort of polish, or what to take off. So they might take off the top point, but it looks beautiful. And then you have the sides, which are natural, but
Mhm.
also their own sort of beautiful. So hopefully when they do that sort of work, you might get a big rock, stone, or crystal, and they did cut it and they did polish it. But what they're doing is they're taking a very ugly side and they're taking it off, and then you can see into the whole stone, but you have the natural sides on all the other sides, so you can see what it looked like. So you're kind of
Mhm.
looking within it. It becomes like a well or a cauldron. But yeah, it's a very long time before humans are replaced in those jobs.